These controversial couples were the most problematic on 90 Day Fiancé, and since the cameras wrapped, we have all the details about their current whereabouts in 2022.
George and Anfisa. Anfisa had an insatiable greed with very expensive taste. George promised Anfisa every luxury imaginable, bribing her to leave Russia and marry him in America. But George wasn't as wealthy as he let on. Once Anfisa moved in, George's credit card debt was enormous. With all his expensive promises out the window, Anfisa's rage erupted. George was sentenced to serve over 2 years in jail after his illegal business was busted. Anfisa divorced him and made her own money. Currently, Anfisa is a certified fitness trainer in 2022. After jail, George lost 128 pounds and leads a healthier life, now a law-abiding citizen. Danielle and Mohamed. Let's just say Danielle and Mohamed were an odd pair. Danielle's credit card debt and inability to provide financially put a huge strain on the two. Eventually, they got married with probably the most awkward kiss at the altar.
I'm not allowed to kiss.
We can kiss you, though. Ah, there we go.
Mohamed found his new wife to be unbearable. Mohamed divorced Danielle and ran off to Miami before she could say, "I'm deporting you, Mohamed." But that was impossible since Mohamed had the green card and green light to escape his ex-wife. But they did have one thing in common, being US citizens. Currently, Danielle works as a licensed registered nurse and Mohamed is a truck driver. Larissa and Colt. Hop on the train wreck express because this relationship was a complete mess. After 11 days of meeting in Brazil, Colt and Larissa were engaged. Once she moved in with her new roomie, Mama Debbie, Larissa made sure that a happy coexistence as one big family would be non-existent. Newlyweds for about a day, the couple got into a domestic dispute, resulting in jail time for Larissa.
Larissa has been charged with domestic battery. Her court date is set for a few months from now.
Shortly after, Debbie accused Larissa of damaging her property and she was arrested again. Colt filed for divorce after these altercations. In 2022, Larissa was caught being on an adult cam site and was fired by TLC entirely. Colt married Vanessa, and then in 2022 she divorced Colt due to Debbie's interference in their relationship. Mama Deb won again. Rose and Big Ed. When Big Ed visited Rose in the Philippines, he made sure to let Rose know she must put more effort into meeting his standards. Rose felt Ed was way too condescending and eventually broke up with him. Since the show, Rose gained a lot of popularity in the Philippines. She's now a social media influencer with over 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, while Big Ed continues his never-ending quest for love. Nikki and Mark. 2 days after meeting 19-year-old Nikki in the Philippines, Mark proposed to her. Mark was previously married to another Filipino woman who divorced him, taking all his money. Nikki felt pressured to sign Mark's prenup. Over time, Nikki's rebellious nature was irritable for Mark, who was notoriously set in his ways. Mark often compared Nikki to his previous wife, even giving Nikki the exact same car he bought his ex. Nikki wanted children, but Mark didn't, creating more marital issues over time. March 2022, In Touch exclusively reported after nearly 7 years of marriage, Mike divorced Nikki for her infidelity. Molly and Louis. Falling in love in the Dominican, Louis flew to America to start their new chapter together. Over time, Molly resented her fiancé for never putting effort towards being a father figure. Louis had no interest in playing the dad role, but rather a cool dad with unwanted creepy jokes.
You want to him just for love?
No marriage, no, not
Just
even
for sleep with him?
Oh, what?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Their most chaotic altercation resulted in Louis escaping overnight without an explanation. Now technically married, Louis fled without a trace. Molly was Louis's financial sponsor unless he signed the divorce papers. Eventually, their divorce was finalized. Louis remarried after 6 months, but in January 2022, Louis was divorced. Molly lost 40 pounds and fell in love with her boyfriend, Kelly Brown, and they're still together in 2022. Darcey and Tom. Darcey decided to meet Tom in London. As a hopeless romantic, this seemed like a great idea to Darcey. It didn't take long before Darcey was clear about her intentions to settle down with Tom. On their first date, Tom confessed he felt Darcey was going a bit too strong. During the most insensitive break ever, Tom revealed, "I met someone that loves me the way I was meant to be loved." Darcey left in tears over how disrespected she felt. Tom tried to get Darcey back, or more so, he didn't want to lose her reality TV gig. After the split, Tom dated a girl from Las Vegas named Mariah. They're still together in 2022 despite her rejecting his proposal for marriage. Recently, in US Weekly, Darcey opened up about not giving up on love. She stated, "There's gotta be one guy in the world that can have the ideal qualities on my checklist." Paul and Karine. Couple Paul and Karine began a little offbeat. Meeting online, they decided to meet in Brazil. Unable to speak each other's languages, they struggled with communication. When they were not together, the long distance made Paul's jealousy emotionally exhausting. Karine's parents begged her to leave Paul. Eventually, they gave birth to 2 sons. Karine made the move to America, but Paul could not find a job and struggled to provide financially. In 2022, Karine was reportedly charged with assault when a fight got physical with Paul. After this, Karine filed for divorce. She posted on social media, "I decided to get out of an abusive relationship. I'm fighting tirelessly for a divorce." Eric and Leida. Living a fairy tale, Leida was the evil stepmother, was obsessed with being the fairest of them all. But when Leida had to share quarters with his daughter, Tasha, things got messy. Literally. Leida scolded Tasha, "I didn't expect that place was going to be such a mess." She continued, "Well, I want her to move out right now, like today." Eric was on his fiance's side, professing nothing will get in the way of their love. Leida filed a restraining order against Tasha and was granted 4 years apart. Leida was flooded with daily threats. To avoid the backlash, the couple decided to quit the show. In 2019, the couple had a domestic dispute that got physical, yet the tumultuous marriage is staying strong in 2022. Nicole and Azan. The husband who's only 55% attracted to his wife Nicole. Once Nicole traveled to Morocco to play house with her potential husband, she was a little too eager to have her young daughter. May call Azan dad, upsetting fans for her selfish choices. After 2 denials for a K-1 visa put a huge wedge into their relationship, Azan's move to America was no longer a possibility. When the pandemic hit, Nicole took advantage of the cheaper flights and traveled to Morocco to stay with Azan. But once COVID shut all international flights, Nicole and Azan quarantined together for 4 months. Ultimately, too much time together was the reason for their official breakup. Jay and Ashley. Couple Jay and Ashley met in Jamaica. They spent 8 days together before they got engaged. Just 3 days after their wedding in Las Vegas, Jay was already on dating apps. After 8 months of marriage, Ashley divorced Jay over cheating. Eventually, Ashley filed a restraining order against Jay. But the couple ripped up those dang divorce papers and began another chapter together. Jay stated, "We're just going to stay together. This has to work." In 2020, they celebrated their anniversary with a blissful 3-year infidelity-free marriage. But Ashley filed for divorce again. Jay began a relationship with his loyal side chick, Kayla. After this mess of a marriage, Ashley decided being single was more appealing. Jay and Kayla got married in 2020, which didn't even last 90 days. Ironic. Currently, Ashley has officially moved on and proudly posts her new relationship on her social media. In 2022, Jay is focusing on his tattoo career, but the dating apps are blowing up his phone as we speak. Angela and Michael. Michael's calm demeanor really balanced out Angela's aggressive behavior. The culture shock pertaining to Nigerian food was unbearable for Angela because, if it were up to her, she would live on Diet Pepsi and cigarettes. Michael's infidelities, Angela's infertility, and Michael's K-1 visa were denied. It appears the relationship has been rocky, but they will be out on the next season of 90 Day Fiancé in 2022. Take it from these couples, the honeymoon phase has a time frame of 90 days. Which couples made you cringe most? Let us know, comment down below, subscribe to The Things Reality, and hit the bell to keep up with all your favorite reality shows.